Virginia Tech. I like Brent Pry a lot. I do. I kind of believe in him. They were horrendous offensively last year. They were actually very good on defense. And they were not given any favors, giving the team the ball
Oh
like
no.
just it was very tough for them. So what are your thoughts? 5.5. How do you feel about that?
Again, I think I lean towards the over just because I think they're gonna beat Virginia, but it's a rivalry game, so who knows? They have to go to Virginia. Not that that's a huge deal, but it's not at home with the Enter Sandman. They will be better than they were last year. 3-8 last year was terrible. Their offense was horrid. They got new playmakers on offense. It's a tough schedule out of the gate, to be honest. Even your out of conference, Old Dominion, they've beaten Virginia Tech recently. That's kind of a rivalry game there. Who knows what happens there? Purdue, another Power Five school, is tough. At Rutgers, we'll see what Greg Schiano has them rolling up there, and then even at Marshall, who was a good Sun Belt team too last year. And then you get into conference play. It's kind of tough, but they did change offensive staff. It sounds like Grant Wells will be the guy, but they kind of who was the guy last year who was terrible. But at least he knows the offense. They want Kyron Drones from Baylor to take over. Both these guys are not very good throwing the football, pushing the ball downfield, but they are good athletes. They can use their legs. The wide receivers, they kind of threw a bunch of darts at a lot of people. Sounds like they'll be more explosive than they were last year. Caleb Smith is gone, but they kind of add a bunch of guys in, and we'll see who sticks. O line, not very good. You're gonna have
Right.
freshmen that are gonna be playing, which is never, and it's not because they deserve to play; it's because of necessity. They got three huge question marks. Top fives are maybe, and even after that is terrible. So you cannot have injuries on the O line. Um, but again, they will probably be better offensively.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think 5.5 is a pretty good line. I do I want to lean, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stay right on par. I think Ali Jennings, like we talked about, I think he's a pretty good player. I'm a big fan of him, but again, quarterback is such a question mark. It just was not good. It was not good last year. It doesn't look like it's going to be that good this year. I'm not seeing a lot of improvement. They return a lot of guys. They return a lot of 6-year guys in the interior, which I'm a big fan of. You always like to see that, but just wow, I don't know. Like I want to root for this team. I want them to make a bowl game, but it's hard for me to actually see that they're gonna make one. And look, Antoine Powell could have some upside. Uh, Important thing to note though, Chris Marv will be calling plays. By the end of the season, he was actually calling plays on the defensive side of the ball. Brent Pry
Yeah,
gave it up to him. So I do think that is something to uh, evaluate, something to take into account. I think they really like Kelly Lawson. I don't know. This is such a question mark team for me. I don't really have a whole lot to say about them, candidly. I mean, it's gonna be a wait and see for me. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch them. I'm gonna be watching a lot of their games. Their out of conference seems really tough though. Old Dominion, which they've lost to before, and Purdue, Rutgers is not. I mean, they're not a good Big Ten team, but that's a Power Five team you're playing in. And then Marshall. I mean, it's a tough out of conference. And then you go into the ACC. You don't draw Clemson, which is pretty nice, but FSU, I mean, at Louisville, NC State. I don't know. I mean, you draw all like the good ones, right? Like the ones that you would want to draw if you're an ACC team, right? You get Syracuse, you get uh, Virginia, which you get every year, Boston College. I don't know. I I have a lot of question marks about this team. I got a lot of question marks. So I think 5.5 is a great line. I think people are rushing to take the under, and I don't think that's the right thing to do with this team. I think Brent Pry is really good. I think he's got a good coaching staff in there. Um, and we'll see. Tyler Bowen's finally like the full-time offensive coordinator, so I that offense it's going to be similar to last year, but I think it's going to be more organized, if that makes sense, right? Too many cooks in the kitchen,
for
right?
sure. But a guy I want to shout out though on the defensive side is Derek Canteen, who's gonna play nickel for them from Georgia Southern. He was a highly rated transfer big time addition for him. Um, a guy that I know Brent Pry's excited about. All those guys. Chris Marvin's too. I think he could have a really good year. Even and Mansour Delaney, I think his name, as a true freshman, played fine at corner. He'll be a nice, hopefully take a step up. Their DBs could be okay. Nazir Peoples coming back. Dorian Strong was hurt all last year. He'll be on the other outside corner across from Delaney. So their defense again is going to be needs to be the strength for this team, unfortunately, and they have to hold them into games. And they lost some close games last year, so they could easily win 6 games this year, 7 games. They could have won 5 games this last year,
Right.
pretty easily, and maybe even 6 if they played Virginia. But yeah, I don't feel confident enough to take the over, but I would definitely lean that way. It is a tough schedule as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.